Just so you know, this is silly town.
Hello again, silly little freaks. What is this, episode 4? If we post
Yeah.
somewhere, this will be episode 4. Welcome back. My dogs hopefully won't interrupt us today. They're sleeping for now. We'll see how that goes.
I think
How
all
you
mine.
doing? What happened? How's the minifigs? Where's Basil?
I think he's napping in the remaining patch of sunlight that's left. Lucifer hopefully will be less insane today. He had a lovely little trip to the vet, so he's officially ballless. Woohoo!
So
Uh,
still a little stoned.
yeah, he's got a little bald patch on his belly because I got a call from the vet. And they're like, oh, so we went in there to start looking around and realized that we couldn't find one. And I'm like, what do you mean you couldn't find it?
Tell me
And they're
more.
like, well, apparently it didn't drop. And I'm like, kind of funny. Second man in my life whose ball has not dropped.
Well,
but,
immediately. Go on.
but they got it all taken care of. So now he's got a bald little belly and his first tattoo and up to date on everything. And yeah, so he's probably still gonna be a little baby, but he's still pretty stoned right now. So we're good on that.
Funny story when I got Dakota neutered. So I'm not, well, I don't know about now, but prior to him, I'm not a fan of male dogs. Like, I never wanted male dogs, but I inherited a male English bulldog with my last ex.
Yeah.
And he was unaltered initially. And then he got a cancerous, like, mast cell tumor that kept coming back. So when we got him neutered, he didn't have anything left because cancer, I guess. And when I got Dakota neutered, I didn't know they leave the little sack. So he came back.
Yeah.
He was all healed and stuff, and I took him to the vet, and the vet's like, oh, he did so good. And I'm like, I have a question. I have a question that is probably stupid, but please know that I've never had a male dog other than this other one. I'm like, what do you do with that? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, there's that skin there. He's like, well, that's the sack. It's empty. I'm like, you didn't take it. He's like, we don't take that.
Yep.
I told him the
Unless you
story
like
about the bulldog.
specifically request it. Yeah.
I told him the story about the bulldog, and he's like, no, they probably took as much as they could because of the cancer. And I was like, oh, so then I felt very, very stupid. But now I know that
I actually
they
only
leave a
knew
little bit.
that because most of my pets are rescues, and I've actually never owned a like since I started adopting animals on my own. I've never had a girl. Um, so that was funny to learn. But you can actually like get them a little cosmetic procedure and get that fixed because apparently people think it's unsightly, and I'm like, it's a fucking dog. I don't think it cares if it's got a empty sack or not.
No, and it's so small because I
Yeah.
got him neutered like pretty young. I did. This is not the direction that this conversation is going to go. I also learned that Harley has a. Has, I always thought she just had like a really small vulva, and then one day she there was like a year that she got a bunch of urinary tract infections, and when I brought her, finally that was like, have we talked about her hooded vulva? And I'm like, I don't know what do you mean?
What the
And this
fuck?
is after the ball sack conversation with
That's a new one.
Dakota. And I'm like, I don't know what you mean. He's like, well, it's not all the way out. It's kind of like a hooded eyelid, like it's sort of covered. And he's like, you didn't notice? It looks different because I had told him I only had female dogs. And I'm like, well, I just thought it was really small. He's like, no, that's not all of it. So now I always have to watch her because sometimes she can get a UTI because it doesn't let everything out, I guess, or dirt can get trapped. So
That is
that's the thing that can happen when you have female animals, apparently.
That's not something that I knew was a thing, but
Nope, it is.
I've learned something new today.
You know what? That's it. We're done. That's the end. One of those things, each of those things was new to somebody. Either somebody didn't know about the ball sack or somebody didn't know about the hooded vulva. I don't know which one, but I think we covered everybody with learning something new.
Coming in strong with the chaos today. Right before this, we were having such a normal conversation.
Just you turned on record and my goblin came out. My goblin,
Oh, I love that for us.
my goblin bubble.
Yeah, but otherwise it was a super productive day. I'm still on my energy drink kick, so I had to wake up at like 7 o'clock to take him to drop him off at the vet. And so I'm like on the way home, grab another one of those, and I chugged like half of it in the 5 minutes that it took me to get home. And then I walked in the door and I was like, you know what? Let's do this. Mop my floor, strip my bed, fucking moved a couch, like reset my bed, fucking started a whole load of laundry, and then I'm just like, it's 8:30. I okay, now what?
Oh my God, what time was your vet appointment?
I got him dropped off. Like they buzzed me in at like it was probably just after 7:30.
Oof.
And then it was only like maybe like 5 minutes away. So little under an hour, I got all of my day's worth of shit done.
That's
So
wild.
I don't know if I need to quit the energy drinks and just go back to coffee, or if it's a good thing that they're basically like cocaine apparently.
I don't know.
That's that's where we're at with that.
My day is weird because the way that my work is structured for my day job, like I have people that work for me in the US, in London, and in Australia. So the way that I like ideally try to structure my week is so that I work with like UK and America like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then America's and like Australia Tuesday, Thursday. But at some point my Tuesdays just like don't work out that way. It ends up where like I work for a bunch of hours in the beginning of the day, and then I have this like chunk of time, and then I work from like 3 o'clock until like 8 o'clock. So today, when it was gym time, I was like, I just want to take a nap, and uh, was not feeling motivated to do anything. And then CK and Lish were like, "Well, if you go to the gym, you'll feel better." And I'm like, "Fuck you, you're right."
Yeah.
Uh, so I had to go to the bank anyway because my last payment for the Wales Airbnb came out for August. So I'm like, "Oh, I gotta put the cash in, otherwise, not paying
Yeah.
myself back." And so I did force myself to go to the gym begrudgingly. And actually, other than the first, I had to do front squats, which I hate. Other than that lift, it was like good, and I had some coffee, and then I came back wired, and I hyper fixated on visas. Like understanding how tourist visas work and like work visas, and research like what kind of work visa my job qualifies for, and then like what are backup options. And when I tell you like 2 hours, just
Yeah.
hyper fixating on things, I'm
I
like,
mean,
no.
that's a fucking deep dive. Like once you start looking at that shit, like there's so much more into it than I think a lot of people realize. So
It's
like once you start looking, then it's like, oh, there's a link that goes to this part of it, and then it's like there's 12 more links, and it's like we're fucking reading all of it now. We're in it.
Well, yeah, and then it's like I didn't quite realize that someone like me, because I work full time and my job knows that I like have side hustles, and they don't care because they don't conflict with the work that I do. Like I don't fuck with our clients or whatever. Um, but like I didn't realize that when you're away on like a work visa, you're limited on things like that. So I had to like, not that I'm going to do all this right now. Whatever visa it ends up being, then I'll do research. But I'm like, ooh, there's like rules and shit to follow, so you don't get kicked out because it's not my country anymore.
Yeah.
Which obviously makes me sound ignorant now saying it, but like you don't get into the logistics until you get into the logistics, which is why I always ask you, can you send me your budget spreadsheet? Because if I build one, I have no idea. I will be 4 hours into it and I won't have a single number on a paper. I don't
Oh,
know
I
why I will
keep
come up with
forgetting
it,
to
but
send you that stuff.
you're fine.
Actually, I redid all my budget stuff. Because I, again, for like the fourth time now, because the last time I did it and then I redid math and stuff, I realized that I didn't factor into what I had already saved
Oh,
and all of that shit. Because even with the money that I spent for this this upcoming trip, I still ended up having a shitload of savings. Because I've been fucking putting in work um to just put shit away for that. So now I have to redoing the math on that again. But I'm well over what I needed to save by the end of this year at least. So we're off to a good start.
good,
Um,
good. 5 more months. Four. Well, I guess almost 4 months, but still.
yeah, I don't know how to do math. That's just super helpful in this situation. Um,
That's why
but
you have a spreadsheet.
yeah, I've been meaning to. They have like free like immigration lawyers that you can kind
They
of get some
do.
insight from and stuff. Well, it's like a free consultation on some of them. Like if you actually want to like hire somebody who's gonna like help you move, obviously it's expensive as fuck. But even just like, hey, you're missing these key points because there's like the specifically with the UK, when you get a visa, part of the like requirements for at least for the skilled worker visa is like the payment into the NHS.
Mm-hmm.
But they're so fucking unclear about it on the website about whether or not it's you need to have this much for each year of your visa. And this is like, okay, so do I have to have that at the start of each year, or do I need to have the entire like 5 years worth of it up front? So my budget has been like accounting for if I need to have it all up front. So I could be again setting myself ahead a few $1,000s on what I actually need. But I need to talk to somebody about that because the way they word it is so fucking confusing.
That's the right mistake to make, though. I didn't even think about that question because I'll tell you what, the dog thing is so confusing.
Yeah.
There are
Honestly,
no clear answers. Although I
I
forget
think
you have the animals too.
yeah, I think I found the right page for that. And honestly, I think once they get cleared with like the like at least the dogs, once they get cleared with the DNA test and they're not on like the banned breed list, it's a lot easier to get them. It's mostly just like the cost of getting them approved for their like their pet visas and like their flights over and shit like that. Um, but I didn't learn about what kind of pets you can't bring. They're not allowed to bring ferrets over there. Um,
Everybody's always hating on ferrets. Like, why?
well, over there, there's a lot of like birds and stuff over there. And it's like you're kind of
Oh,
not supposed to like let cats outside either, like with like here, because it can be destructive to like the natural habitat of like birds and other wildlife and shit. Because ferrets are predators,
that's true.
and they'll just fucking fuck up the whole shit over there. Because they're considered an invasive species. I know they have some kind of weasel that is naturally existing over there. It's like something in the weasel family. I can't remember which one it is right now, but those are like the only ones that are allowed to be there. But they're also like not like the population of them is like not super high, I guess, so it's not destructive to the bird population. But no, it's super interesting, but not really relevant. But you know, it's
I have an even less relevant, intrusive thought, but let me say this out loud first before I really fuck this all up. I never found the page about the DNA test, and when I
oh shit.
called, I didn't call. That's a lie. My friend Kristen called for me because I was like afraid that they would. I don't know why. This is how my brain works. I was terrified that if I called to ask about my dogs, they would like make a note that this person called and asked about these dogs and like flag me. Somebody else called. They asked about the dogs, and they said they didn't bring that up either. They just said that they kind of like look at them, and I'm like, that's weird. But then apparently they're
Huh.
like mostly concerned with like giant bully breeds. Anyway, so I don't know any. I still haven't like fully figured out the dogs, except that somebody over there that I know, their girlfriend looked at pictures of my dogs and was like, "There's these dogs should be fine." But
Yeah,
really
because
to do
yours definitely don't look like they have anything that's even considered bully in them. My dog definitely looks very much like a pit bull, but that's because he's Staffordshire Terrier. Visually at least, like I think they when they did the test when before I adopted him, they were like he's majority English bulldog, so like that's fine. But because he looks like he could be something related to a pit, they'll flag that without a test. And I'm just like, bro, my man Basil is absolutely British. All of all of the breed that makes him up is British. Let him come home. It's
Well, I don't think Dakota looks very. But when people see him outside, they're like, "Oh, is he like a pit puppy?" I'm like, "No, he's 6 years old. First of all, second of all, I have no idea. He's a street rat. Like I don't
yeah.
know, literally a street rat." But his sister got a DNA test, and I can't remember if she came up pit bull or Staffy, but I remember thinking that Staffy would be a problem. But it sounds like maybe not. I don't know. Got to
I
get
think
up
it's
there.
just yeah, I think it's just like the American terrier breeds that are like on the not okay list because I feel like it'd be kind of hypocritical be like, no, this we know they're technically British, but they're banned anyway. I was like, how make that make sense, you know?
I don't know, but I need
Um,
to figure out if the DNA test is like a real thing because then I need to actually see what his would come up as. My vet won't even do it because he's like, those are not legit. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, help me, help myself. I don't know.
I wonder how they wouldn't be legit. I mean, they'd probably be about as like accurate as like the ones that people do,
That's what
where
I
it's
would
just
think.
like the percentage of like these other dogs have like similar blood kind of thing. Um, so I feel like it would be at least accurate enough to prove a point if you're trying to like move or something. But
I know that his sister also came up like Chihuahua was like her number 2 or whatever, which like if you see the way if you ever see my dog's mannerisms and like if you ask Taylor and CK, it's true.
yeah,
He's absolutely like the way that he just like skits away, like he's
yeah,
insane. Um, so then like the person that I sent the picture to, like, oh, are they aggressive? I'm like, this dog will absolutely run from you. Like he will hide behind me immediately. He is not going to be aggressive with anybody. All right, sorry, I fucked that up. We got we got cut off because I was messing with my mic. We were talking about the dogs. And
yeah. Yours is definitely a little wuss.
yes,
Yeah.
he's not being aggressive with anybody.
So I feel like people severely misunderstand a lot of dogs like that because so many like larger dogs got specifically bred to be less aggressive because they had the stereotype of being aggressive, and then Chihuahuas were just allowed to run free and be little shits because they're like, oh, they're a little dog, they're not gonna hurt anybody, and I'm just like, that little yappy demon fucker is gonna get punted if he comes near me with those fucking jaws, man. I swear to God. I love animals, but I do not fuck with Chihuahuas. They terrify me.
They are absolutely going to come for you before any other dog. Like,
Little ankle biters.
correct. Correct. And they're going to be mean. I love those videos where, like, somebody's, like, trying to cut a Chihuahua's nails and then they're cutting like, a Mastiff's nails or, like, the beastest looking pit bull ever. And the dog's just, like, chilling there.
Yep.
Pit bulls are always the ones getting their nails filed, too. Like, after they're cut, they're getting a
Yep.
whole salon treatment. Such good dogs. Just let them in, guys. The UK just doesn't want us back, like any of us. They're
Please
like
take
y'all
me
wanted,
back.
they're like y'all wanted to leave. What are you coming back for now? We're like the toxic ex
Mm.
coming back.
Well, to be fair, if I had my choice, I would follow my lineage back to Ireland because I'd much rather go home there. But it's really fucking hard to get approved for a visa to live in Ireland, which is a
Harder
bummer.
than the UK.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know
Which
that.
honestly, it feels a little fair. Like, I'm sorry, the British fucking colonized half the world. You got to be a little more open to letting people come back or come bother you, whatever, But the Irish are kind of just like, we're just gonna mind our business. Like, we got colonized too. We don't need anybody else here. We're just like, that's fair.
I always like. Do you ever notice when you're like filling out any paperwork for over there, they like the what was I doing? I don't remember what I was doing. I was doing something on the website where you go through, or you know, how you could like go through the website. It's like a choose your own adventure to teach you like the things you need to do to get over there.
Yeah.
And there's parts where you put in like your ethnicity, and it's like white, British, Welsh, Northern Irish, something else, and then it's like white, other European, and then it's like white, Gypsy Irish, or Gypsy Irish traveler, and I'm like, what is this? I don't
Yeah.
like what is this? No.
I haven't filled that section out yet, but honestly, the fact that they classified that separately makes so much sense because they're absolutely still bitter that they couldn't fully colonize the majority of Ireland. So they're like, we're gonna talk our shit, and it's like it's not that hard to just first of all change the fucking language. We're not
Yeah.
gonna use that word.
That's what I read it on paper and I was like, gypsy. It's an interesting
Yeah,
way to refer to them.
but
Oh,
it's a fucking British, so I mean, it's
I know, but I'm over here
they're
like,
never gonna learn.
just take me. Just take me. I'll pray for Brexit to be lifted, but just take me because
I mean, they did something good with this last election. I mean, they made some steps that I mean, ones that we fucking have not even come close to making here. And I promise I'm not gonna get all political.
I know like it, we
I
both like,
talked.
intentionally avoid that every time we sit down. I'm like, we can't go down
Yeah,
this road.
yeah, no. I was talking to my best friend about that, and we're very much of the same political leaning, and I like made a joke about him coming on and talking with me about this, and he's like, it's probably better if we don't have us recorded saying some of those things. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I'm sure I've been on a list for buying certain books about anarchism and whatnot since I was a fucking child. just from the site that I bought them off of. But, it's
Oh,
as
see,
of right now, I'm very unimportant, but
I don't even like to read about that shit. Like I hate even having feelings as strong as I do right now. I feel like I got pushed to that, and I would like to go back to a point where I was more apathetic and didn't feel guilty about being apathetic because things weren't so polarized one way or the other. Like you could sit in the middle comfortably.
I just feel
And
like
I miss those days because I wasn't like totally apathetic, but there wasn't anything that had me like riled up early on
yeah,
in my voting career.
yeah.
Mm,
We're going to do a hard left turn here, make sure we don't get too far, because I will absolutely
I,
go on a rant, and
I I totally had a hard
wanna,
I totally had a hard pivot point, but I want to hear
no, you're
yours.
good. um, um, but yes, the British need to let honestly, I've said it before. I'm happy to give up my American citizenship if somewhere that's better, or at least trying to do better, will let me in. Like I said, I'd rather go somewhere that at least is like Ireland, or even I don't know. It'd be cool to go to like somewhere like Italy or something like that.
Oh,
But
Italy
I'm
is
a little bit
Italy is my
never
final
been there.
my retirement destination, 100%.
Yeah, fucking love to retire to New Zealand, man. Buy a little
No.
fucking hobbit house, live up in them hills. That's absolutely the fucking dream.
Listen, I want to
Um,
go and it's beautiful, but like the creepy crawlies.
no, that's the best thing about New Zealand. It's not like Australia.
Oh,
Um, so they don't have like I'm sure they have some things that are like not great, but it's even with the proximity to all the violently frightening things that Australia has, it doesn't have like any of that shit. And the weather there, it's like permanent spring all the time. And the majority of, I think, the majority of the land there is also still preserved as like national park property. So it's all like super preserved nature land and like beautiful forests and the fucking mountains and all that shit. And like, it's also very fucking expensive to move there.
I didn't I didn't know that they didn't have the creepy crawlies, to be honest. And I'll tell you what, that's probably very American of me. So we were talking, I was on a call with someone before this from Australia about like some things that are inherently American. One of them being that we are not good with geography outside of our own country unless we have made an effort to like pay attention after school.
Yeah.
Which I like to think that I'm decent, but I know I'm not very good. Like I did not know that New Zealand didn't have creepy crawlies. Also, I learned where Serbia was today. So like
Yeah.
I am absolutely guilty of these things. But now I feel less concerned or nervous about visiting. That's the one thing. I want to go to Australia so bad. I've wanted to go my whole life.
I don't want spiders crawling out of the toilet though, man. I
No, or
can't fucking
frogs.
do it.
Well, actually, you wouldn't mind frogs probably, but I said, like, my best friend and I, when we were younger, that was our thing. We wanted to go to Australia. And I don't even know how we got on that kick initially.
Yeah.
But I remember saying to her, like, last month we were talking, I was like, you know how we're, like, obsessed with going to Australia? She's like, yeah. I'm like, now that I learned about all the bugs that are the size of my dogs, like, and I think you were the one that said, one of you, either you told me about spider season or the woman that works for me was talking about spider season. I was like, spider season. And was it you or was it her?
I think we did maybe talk about that at one point. I think that I think that was a chat thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, maybe. So I said to my best friend, I was like, just going to put this out there to you. Like, I still want to go. But I now know that spider season exists. And I
yeah.
don't know about that.
Not super yeah, not super excited about the spiders, and I don't really care about the koalas either because those freaky little demons with chlamydia also can stay far as fuck away from me. Like plus that's another place that's like, they had enough shit from white people that maybe I'll mind my business. I won't go there. Uh
I still want to
that's
go. I'm just scared of
yeah.
so many things. It feels like
I don't
sometimes the
even
stories feel like it's a whole different world.
yeah, I don't even I mean, to be fair, I haven't even I think the closest I've been to being in like the Southwest where they have shit like that was a fucking train stop in Reno like 10 years ago. And that's I won't even go down there. And that's one of I like Jason. He in like a month is clarification. I've been told that I need to stop talking about people and not giving context to who they are. Jason is my coworker slash my friend. I know I've talked about him for 3 episodes now. But not just a random person.
Just a name I picked. That's
Yeah.
all.
But he has flight school in Arizona, so he's
Okay.
gonna be down there, and I'm just like, good luck with that. It's really hot. There's lots of scary things. You know, get black lights for your house because those fucking bioluminescent scorpions and shit.
No.
I'm not gonna come visit. Absolutely fucking not. Because no, that shit scares me. This is like, so I won't go down there. So what do I look like going somewhere that it's like that, but on fucking steroids? That's frightening. Uh, so like, yeah, I mean, it's beautiful, and honestly, I'd love to go see the Sydney Opera House just for the architecture, side of that. But like, I can't manage to just teleport to the Opera House and then fuck off. So maybe like a bucket list kind of thing. It's like, oh, I'm like, I'm gonna die in a week anyway, so we'll fucking go skydiving and go to Australia and see all the deadly stuff. Like,
Well, it does. It is. Wow, words are hard. Supposedly, Sydney has less creepy crawlies than like Melbourne, and supposedly Queensland has a lot of creepy crawlies.
yeah,
Um, so you might be okay in Sydney because it's more of a cityscape, I think.
that makes sense.
I'm gonna do it once, but I'm also
Yeah,
afraid of the bugs and things that we have in like even the southeast. Like I can't even some of those are too big for me. And I often wonder, like, are there things that I even have over here in the northeast that people are afraid of besides hurricanes? Because apparently hurricanes are very scary to people. And I'm like,
I mean, they're scary. I'm sure there's the further south you go, the scarier they get. I'm guessing up more towards where you're at, they don't really reach that far as intensely as like down on like the Gulf and shit. Um, but I think the scariest thing that's up there that I can think of is like the things you hear about in just along the Appalachian mountain range in general.
like the skinwalker.
Nope, I wasn't gonna say it.
I'm sorry.
There's some things you don't say by name.
I'm so sorry.
I've learned my lesson.
I'm so sorry. If I'm not here
um,
tomorrow, you know what I summoned.
yep, I'm good on that.
Sorry.
There's fucking bears and like moose and stuff the further north you go, but that was a concern up in like Vermont at least, which I know is like not terribly far. Um,
I mean, we have them in Jersey and New York too. I guess I just like bears are just like, I don't know. They're just a thing that's here. They don't, I mean, I'm not going to hang out with one,
yeah.
but they don't scare me the way that bugs do and tornadoes.
Well, I mean, shit, you could see. See. That's I've been living my whole life in part of Tornado Alley.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
I'm not super. Like, I mean, obviously they're really scary, but it's like that's something you kind of grow up with, and then it's like, oh, it's if you know how to deal with it, they can be like less frightening as long as you're fucking prepared. Um, but we don't have bears around here. We have mountain lions, which is funny because we don't live near mountains. I have hills, but what the fuck is a bobcat doing in the middle of fucking Nebraska? Well, they'll just pop up in people's yards sometimes, and that's
I was going to say
fun
bears.
local news.
Actually, I guess the thing about bears that's kind of creepy over here is like they will swim in your pool or they will open your door and come inside.
Bears are too smart.
They will
Kind
like
of
come in your house if your door is unlocked in some places.
no. I've seen the size of those fuckers' paws, man. You please stay out of my home because if you come in my home, that's your home now. I will move. I'm done. I'm
Well,
gone.
goodbye.
Thanks.
I am the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yep.
It's so
Yes,
funny.
I mean, oh, sorry.
I was gonna say it's so funny that we're like animals and bugs because when you were talking about weasels before, all I could think about was that dude, and now I cannot remember his name. But have you seen him? He does like Instagram reels and TikToks, and he's always talking about the crazy like unknown creatures, and there's always some kind of weird worm. My God, Corey something. It's fine. I'll send it to you after. But somebody listening obviously will know who he is. He's Corey
Yeah.
something, and he literally just does these like people will tag him in videos of animals that don't look real. He's like, "Yep, it's real, and we got to talk about it." And it's always some insane, crazy colored jellyfish, or like
Huh.
a worm, or this thing that looked like it. I don't know. This thing that looked like it was probably like a chupacabra, but it was like some kind of bat. It's like a real animal.
That's fun.
He's interesting.
I know there's a few guys that do that kind of shit, and like it's always super interesting. Like I know there's a guy that goes around and is just like, I'm gonna let this fucking crazy spider, or crazy ant, or whatever, like sting or bite me just to test the pain level, and I'm like, this is why men don't live as long. Proud of you. Like your pain tolerance must be fucking insane. It's honestly it's really impressive, but I'm just like I would never let that thing touch me. Like I grew up being that weird little kid growing up out in fucking boonies with bugs everywhere, and I'd let little daddy long legs crawl on me and stuff, and it was super cute and fun. But that's a fucking daddy long leg. That motherfucker's mouth is not small, like it's not big enough to bite me anyway. It's literally just legs. Uh, just a ball with legs.
Just walks.
It's so cute. I love those things, but there's some things you don't fuck with, like, and yeah, the fact that he does that, or like the fucking the river monsters guy, fucking, he literally just goes into like rivers and lakes and shit like that, and finds these scary ass fish that look like fucking aliens, and it's like, yeah, this is what this is, and I'm just like, why are you in the water with that thing? Sometimes it's okay to mind your business. It's
stay the fuck away.
Yeah, like we have cameras that can go underwater. You didn't need to put yourself in there, but yeah, that's your business, I guess. If you like risking your appendages, that's you do you, bud. Whatever pays the bills, I guess.
No, I'm all set. Like I do know the guy you're talking about that gets bit by things, and when I tell you, sometimes my like hands and arms ache after watching him get bit, and I don't like any bugs. I think maybe twice in my life I may have touched a lightning bug. Like I wasn't like a pick up a ladybug kind of girl.
Oh,
I don't like anything that has more than 4 legs. I am all set with that. And actually, I think a praying mantis may only have 4 legs, and fuck them too.
what?
Like I think
No?
they're arms and 2 legs. I'll have to look at a picture after because I might be also sounding stupid again. But I only can see in my brain arms and 2 legs, and fuck that also.
I feel like I'm picturing it, and now I've just convinced myself that I don't know what a praying mantis looks like.
No, you do. Oh, they do
Like,
have.
I know
They do have 6 legs. I'm wrong.
Okay, yeah, okay. Well, it's like it's an insect. Like,
I just wasn't remembering those middle legs, but like also no. Goodbye. Get out of my face. What did I even
I fucking listen though. Praying mantises are cool as fuck, especially those ones that look like orchids. They're so fucking pretty. Like, I understand that I'm not equipped to take care of one. I'll absolutely hold one. Um, I have a friend. I went over to their house one time, and they had found some baby ones in their yard, and they had like a little terrarium set up inside, and they were just like raising these wild praying mantises. And so me and one of my other friends stopped by one time, and we're just like, oh, this is really cute. And they're like, yeah, you want to hold it? And I'm just like, absolutely, yes. And it was like this teeny tiny little, like it wasn't even bigger than like my pinky, like tiny little thing. And it was just it danced. Like if you played music for it, they would sit there and just do a little dance, and it was super cute. Like they're absolutely the vibe. But like I'm definitely not gonna hold a pet tarantula or something like that. Like I'll hold snakes. That's fun. I'll hold certain bugs, but bigger spiders kind of freak me out. Like those fucking camel spiders that they have, like in the Middle East that are like massive.
Nope. Goodbye.
Well, apparently they're not like super aggressive. Like the only reason that they follow after people is because they're trying to get in the cool shade of like the person or the camel or whatever shadow. So that's the only reason they actually like follow you, is they're just chasing a little shady spot, which I think is kind of cute. That makes me think of dogs, but also that spider is bigger than my head, and no thank you.
No.
I don't want to have to wake up and have to shake that out of my boot. Thank you.
No, I'm all done. Anything with more than 4 legs is off limits. Snakes are okay because they don't have any legs. Like I don't mind snakes at all. I don't mind reptiles. As soon as you have more than 4 legs, I am all set. You can go on your merry fucking way, and I will not bother you, and you don't bother me. We can exist.
Don't make eye contact.
I will mind my business. Mind my business. As long as you mind yours. Get out.
Yeah.
No. Um, Dude, I napped for like, I can't even tell you how many hours Saturday. And I need to just like acknowledge that it's not normal to be a grown adult. I took like a 3 hour nap and then I was awake for like 2 hours and then I took like another 2 hour nap. And then I
Dude,
slept for 10 hours
I
Saturday
think
night.
I think that fucking full moon was hitting people hard. I think that's part of it. Um, because that just fucking that reset of energy was just so intense with where it was at and where fucking Pluto was at too. That's absolutely we're gonna take a break, full reset. So maybe that's what it was.
I have to hope so because then I was like, oh, I probably have low iron again because that's a thing. And then I got my blood done and they're like, your iron's great. I'm like, well, why am I so fucking lazy then? Because
Sometimes
I'm
you
an
just need a
adult
break.
who napped for 5 hours in the middle of the day on my day off.
Jesus, I fucking wish, man. That
No,
sounds that sounds nice.
it
I
doesn't
can't
seem
nap
good.
though.
What? You took a nap?
I can't nap.
Oh, you'll learn.
I think I tried to take a nap accidentally. Well, before we got on. Um but I just yeah, I don't know. Since like after high school it's just like I once I'm awake, I'm fucking awake. Um
It's just you're young. You'll get there. I wasn't at napping age when I was your age either. It hit me at like 35. All of a sudden, I could nap.
yeah.
Um, but I can't do like quick naps. So like, if I try to do like a 10-minute nap, I feel like dog shit.
Little power nap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't do that. And then I explained that to my trainer because she also hates that I don't sleep well at night. Like I'm like a typically I sleep 4 to 5 hours a night. I think now I've gotten myself up to like a solid 6 regularly. And then some nights, like Saturday, for no reason at all, I'll sleep 10 hours. But she was like, the way that you're like, I don't think it's your circadian rhythm because I think that's really just more about like all night. But she's like, if you're going to sleep, your sleep cycle is 90 minutes. She's like, so if you can't like commit to 90 minutes of sleep, you're probably going to wake up more tired because you're not going through like a full cycle. And I'm like, so you're telling
Yeah.
me I have to nap for 90 minutes? And she's like, or you don't have to nap. I'm not telling you have to. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a good excuse. But I don't know. So that wasn't great. And I didn't get to do anything that I had planned for the full moon because then I was tired Sunday. Um, so maybe I'll do some of it tonight though. I did put out my moon water. Like that's out. But
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe I'll do some stuff tonight.
I definitely didn't do all of the shit that I planned because
It's
I don't know, I was gonna do like my regular like full moon pull and all that stuff and I think I already told you, but I was ignoring my cards because they pissed me off. Um which is totally a reasonable thing to do. But like I'm first of all, how dare you? Uh like why would you say that? But
rude.
I feel like that's what would have ended up pulling with the fucking moon anyway, based on everything that it fucking said. Um, but I did another one today, and that felt positive. So I was just like, oh, maybe I just needed a little minute because I needed to stop asking the same question because that's what happens. I keep asking the same thing or like wondering about the same things in my life, and I keep getting the same answer, and then I'm mad that I keep getting told the same fucking thing. I was like, okay, well, moving on. We're done. We're accepting it for what it is. Whatever. Which I'm not even remotely good at doing. So you know, that's fun.
Yeah,
Working on it.
I haven't pulled yet. I think tonight I'll be able to. I used to try to force it, and then I realized that when I would look back, like obviously they weren't right because you're forcing it.
Yeah.
So I think I'll try it tonight because my energy feels better. But like I don't know. I was not. I'm not stuck on. I am conscious of the fact that it's a like supposedly a 16-year cycle ending, and then when I go back to like 2008, that's when I met my ex-husband, and I'm like, oh, you're not wrong because then I repeated that cycle 7 years after I met him, And now
Yeah.
here I am, and it feels like a put the bow on the box, be done with that. And so I want to make sure to make some time, like at least this week, to like actually honor that and do things because I am not the same person as I was 16 years ago, and I love that for me. I want to
Yeah.
spend some time with that knowledge.
It's fun realizing that the cycle's repeating, and it's like how are you going to handle it this time? Because obviously you're not the same person. So are you prepared to learn that lesson and finally take that next step into who you're supposed to be or who you're becoming and all that? I don't know. I've tried to look back, and it's I don't know. Some of it I can't remember, but I've told myself that like even if I don't look back, I'm set on learning the lesson the first time from now on, and I'm just it's so hard for me because that means I'm not in control necessarily, and I don't do well with that at all.
Oh, learning lesson the first time is the dream. Now I'm also kind of like hyper conscious, like, okay, so now 16-year cycle over. I did it twice in a row. I'm going to reflect on this, and then I'm immediately going to be tested somehow. Like,
Yeah.
immediately, the universe is going to be like, but did you learn? Because, like, here you go. Do it again. I'm going to be like, fuck. No. I said I learned. Can you just take my word for it? Don't do this to me again.
Yeah.
So you can call
Oh,
me out if I don't see it, but I think I got it. We'll see. Just know, I know that it's going to be gift wrapped to me. Here you go, round 3. Who wins this time?
yeah. I think that's part of why I think it'd be fun to um do an episode with like just focusing on like the astrology and stuff and getting insights from like an actual astrologer because it's fun looking deep into that, and like I've um have been doing a lot of that with fingers, and the other day it was so funny because I said something to Jason, and I'm like, you know what, I'm sending this motherfucker's chart to fingers, and just bar for bar broke it the fuck down and was like asking all these questions, and I'm just like, yeah, and then just like spelled it out, and I was like, you don't even know this motherfucker, and you just absolutely destroyed him. And so I screenshot it. I'm like, I'm sending this to him, and they're like, he's not gonna believe you. First thing, he comes back and he's like, what the fuck kind of star math did you just do on me? Also, you might be right, but I'm not gonna believe it out of spite. And I was just like, they literally said you were gonna do that. Like, so tell me it's not real. Tell me it's not real.
I can't.
So it's, and I know they most like Jason mostly gives me shit about that, and I think the more we talk about it, the more he's like, oh, maybe it's got some truth to it. But he's still a pretty solid skeptic, and it's fun having those conversations with somebody who's not as, you know, neck deep in it. It also helps keep me more grounded, which is always very healthy.
I have a friend who's like she's pretty skeptical because she's big into research and data, which is like the best thing about her. Because I'm always like, hey, this thing, this assessment, this whatever, this theory, like, can you either I'll ask her if she knows the data, or I'll just send something like sort of out of pocket, and then she'll be like,
Yeah.
I need to look this up, and I'm like, I knew you would do that, and that's why I sent it so that I don't have to. But so she's very like astrology is just a fun pseudoscience, and I'm very like, no, it's not. Look at what I can tell you about you. So, knowing she doesn't believe it, every once in a while she will still be like, what are the planets doing? Because this, and that is happening. And I'm like, do you want me to tell you? Because I can tell you why. But I know you don't really mean it because you're not going to believe me. But I love
That's
that, like,
so funny.
most people can't turn off the curiosity, even if you know they don't believe it. They still,
Yeah.
like, want to talk to the weird white girls with the nose rings. Figures was actually, we were talking the other day. We were in this whole big like meaning of life is everything and also nothing at the same time, and then somehow that, of course, spiraled into like
Because we
birth.
had that conversation like a couple weeks ago,
I
which
know.
they they came back to me and were just like, dude, no, fucking look at this shit. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't need to spiral today, but thank you. Uh,
I literally told someone that works for me today. I was like, "Wait, what year were you born again? Is this year your Saturn return?" Because she's like having a rough week. She's
yeah,
admittedly not having a rough year, but it's been like a weird week. just in life and in general. And I'm like, is this your Saturn return? And she's like, what does that mean? And I'm like, I can't do this right now because there's something after this, but we will talk about this. Basically, that year sucks if it helps.
That's the funniest thing though, because I've been preparing so hard for that because everybody's like, oh, it's gonna suck super hard. And mine officially started February 25th, I think, is when Saturn officially moved into Pisces. And so I'm like, all right, shit's about to get fucking rough. And I'm just like, hold on. I thought you guys said this was bad. Like, I'm having a great time right now. Like, aside from obviously having dental issues, which is super funny because Saturn rules teeth and bones, and now I'm getting teeth ripped out of my face in 2 days. So, well,
Whoa.
by the time this releases, it'll be a couple weeks ago. But yeah, so that honestly is super funny because that's like probably the worst part of my return that's happened. But apparently when you have a lot of Saturn ruled placements anyway, the return's a little bit easier because you're already used to dealing with those cycles of fucking bullshit. So, you know, shout out to Daddy Saturn for that one.
How many do you have?
Oh, like 5?
Oh, fuck.
Because I think I have 4 specifically Capricorn, and then I have Aquarius Mercury also. So
Good God. I'm looking mine up again because when mine came around, I wasn't as into this. I'm like, I looked mine up, and that's why if anybody's watching the video, my face got pink because I already forgot the date. So I want to look at it. So mine was like, and mine ended in 2014, and I got divorced in 2014, and I was like, oh, look at that. Like, and then it started again in 2015, and I will have you know that my last ex and I broke up for the first time in July 2015, and my second Saturn return started June 14th.
That's so fun.
So again, it's all the same cycle, and I'm like, oh, there it is. But I feel like Saturn return, the way you described it, is the way that I feel about like Moldavite. Like people are terrified of it. I have had a wonderful experience with Moldavite, and she just disappearing and coming back and disappearing and coming back. I think it's really about like, do you want to face the things that come up during those times? And I for sure did not face them, so.
Well, I think that's why it was so easy because this actually kind of is going to lead into like ended up being how we met. Was because the end of last year I got out of a cycle with an old friend. But I'm just like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. And so, you know, not friends with them anymore. And I just kind of started trying really hard to focus on like myself. And I'm just like, we're not dating anymore. I'm not putting up with like toxic friendships anymore. We're fucking done. And then I found, you know, you and the chat. And that was like weeks after I ended that friendship actually. And you know, made all these changes and like started doing like getting back into my craft and like, you know, focusing on like the manifestation and all of that shit. And then I found you guys, and then like I found, you know, all that support and the love and all that shit with you guys leading up to the start of my return. So I think that's part of why it was such an easy transition into the actual return, is because I was in a space where I could deal with the shit because I finally had the support of like my spirituality and like the people in my life. So I think that made a huge difference with like being willing to face the shit. But you know, now I just get to be terrified about the actual physical impact of the return. But it's fine. We're gonna be fine.
You'll have some new tooth souvenirs.
I fucking hope
wow,
so.
words are so hard. Right? I don't know what is happening. I wish that I wasn't drinking water during this and I was drinking wine, so I had an excuse. But it's just all the thoughts are too fast for the jaw, I guess.
Well, everybody's got those days.
It's me. It's me. Hello. I don't have another return until 2041, so check back with me then, and I'll let you know how that one goes.
Yeah.
With this new self-awareness.
It's gonna be exciting.
I hope so. We'll see. I don't even know how long we've been chatting because I fucked up our recording and I'm trying to make sure that we like keep it to the same length, but it's such a good conversation. But astrology is another one of
Yeah,
those things that we will go on like a
forever.
47-hour tangent about.
Yeah, we'll
So
definitely have to do a specific episode for that one. I'll reach out to, I can reach out to the astrologer that I um I use for a lot of my stuff to see if she maybe wants to give some insights.
that would be cool.
Um, but yeah, I love talking about this shit. Um, I think it's sometimes it's more fun to talk about it with people who don't know anything about it, and that because then I'm like, I'm gonna have so much fun just asking you questions that seem like they have no relevance whatsoever, and then you're gonna answer it. I'm just like, you see this spot right here where it says that,
You know what
you
happened there?
fucking clown.
I like that somebody said something to me about not being like very, very sensitive or something, and they were, what they say? Oh, I'm so sensitive, but they were like uh, like a Sag sun or like a Cap sun, and I was like, yeah, but what's your moon though? Like, is it a Cancer? And they're like, how do I know? And they like, send them the site, and they put all their shit in,
Oh
and it
hi,
comes up, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, oh, weird.
my cat's making an appearance. Hi,
Oh,
Quasi. This is Quasi. He looks like a toasted marshmallow.
and see his little ears.
He's a flame point Siamese,
Oh,
so he has orange cat energy, which means he has no fucking brains. And now
oh,
he's gonna sit on me.
I didn't know that
Yep.
about orange.
He's also a little bit cockeyed, which is the funniest fucking thing when he's like really focused on something. Oh, buddy, okay. He's also very aggressively friendly sometimes. I really hope he doesn't bite me.
There we go.
Because he also does that. Um, this is gonna be fun for anybody who watches the episode on YouTube.
He looked like he was slithering like a snake for a second there. Like this,
Oh, bro, this is a problem. Hold on.
if we don't have people sold on maybe watching some of the videos, this is the one to start with.
Ouch. Oh, okay. He's stuck. That's fine. Yep. I totally lost my train of thought.
I think you were gonna.
Ow.
I don't remember actually. This was too funny. I lost your train of thought. So I was distracted by the furry animal. We started
Oh,
with animals and we came back to animals at the end.
yay.
Oh,
Oh. Um. He actually hasn't been this friendly in a while. This is really weird. I'm kind of scared. Because he's very friendly, but then in a split second, will be like, "I'm fucking done. Stop touching me."
the
And we'll fight if you don't stop at exactly the right minute. I'm trying not to strangle him with my headphone cord.
it's the cat's eye. He's coming to steal your breath.
Okay, buddy. Here, we're gonna. Okay, we're done. Thank you. Oh,
We're done. You're done.
all right. I'm so glad I put on a black hoodie because now I'm fucking furry.
I like it.
Another conversation for a whole nother day.
Oh, good God. What have I done? Well, this was a fun just shoot the shit round. What do? We
Yeah.
did animals, creepy crawlies, visas, bears, tornadoes, hurricanes. I don't even remember what the fuck we were just talking about. Astrology, Saturn return, and full moons. Wow, we did a lot of cats, and we got assaulted by a cat.
Yeah, I've officially been attacked. It's all good. Yeah, this is a fun one. Shout out to everybody who's listened so far. I really appreciate the support. Shout out to all the people that have watched our YouTube video and looked at our silly little faces. That's super fun for you guys.
I'm just constantly like touching my face. My hands are constantly moving in every video.
No,
I'm so sorry.
no. I don't know how to sit still. It's fine. But yeah, looking forward to next time.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, I have jar topics. I have to send them to you. I did post on my story.
Oh, yes.
Some.
If you
have some people that want to chat with us, so maybe I'll post again and see if we get more.
Hell yeah, I keep forgetting to plug that. If you have anything you want to hear us talk about, literally anything, all the links are connected to the Spotify, I think I still need to put them on the YouTube, but yeah, send us DMs. Set up Instagram, Twitter. I don't know if you can do it on. I think you actually might be able to do it on Spotify too. But yeah, tell us what to talk about. We'll literally talk about anything.
Shocking. Shocking. Except politics. We're not going to talk about politics for real. We're going to leave that right where it is.
But yeah, thanks for joining us on another episode.
All right. I will see you later.
Bye.